Hey, Heidi Easley here at Texas Art and Soul, and I am so excited. Damon invited me to teach you how to do this beautiful barn quilt patriotic design. So I'm really excited to share this with you. I'm going to show you step by step of exactly how to do this entire barn quilt. So go ahead and stick around so you can see exactly how to paint it, and I'll share all of it with you. All right, have fun. Hey, Heidi Easley here, Texas Art and Soul, and I teach people how to make money teaching paint parties. And today I wanted to share with you how to create a really cute barn quilt painting, but we're going to do a patriotic one. So you can see here, I have one that's been done that you could put on a door, you could put outside a barn, you could put inside your house on a mantle, whatever you like. But I find that these are so fun because it's like a mix of a puzzle and a painting all in one. So they're really fun and very easy. So today we are going to paint a barn quilt, a patriotic barn quilt. So if you want to order the barn quilt, you can click the link in the comments or the description. And then also we're just gonna have some fun today. So I hope you enjoy this. All right, so I'm just going to move this a little bit like that so you can see it. And basically, whenever you order this, it comes with all the different pieces. So the reason I like this is it makes it really super easy to paint stuff without having the pressure of trying to go in all of the lines. As you can see, this is the part that really only has the lines. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move this over so I remember how it is. Actually, real quick, I'm just going to, and this is just an extra little thing you can do. You don't have to do that, but I'm just going to grab a pencil and just kind of trace over where that part was so I don't forget. Okay, so I'm going to move this over here and then we'll come back to that in a little bit. So I'm just going to place this somewhere around the side, okay? And before I forget, if you want to know more about, my painting, how I teach people to do this and make money, don't forget to text me, okay? So if you want to screenshot this, you can text my number and just put, barn quilt or something like that, or just put, hey, Heidi. So you can go ahead and screenshot this and text me. And then I always text when I go live or have something really cool going on. So if you want to learn more about painting, and it's 817-373-5478. So you could pause that if you need to. Okay, so these right here, I'm going to do in red. Now, my favorite red, especially for Christmas or patriotic, is Tuscan red. So I'm going to be using red for these. And then I want the entire background here up is going to be blue, and this down is going to be white. So you can follow my exact design for this. So I'm just going to draw a line here, okay? Because here up is going to be blue. Here up is going to be blue. So I'm just placing this here. And it's not a big deal if I accidentally paint over it, because look, this red one is going to cover. So it's not even that big of a deal. So it's like a puzzle. And these pieces just make it a little bit easier. And then I'm going to do all the stars white so they have a contrast. So I'm going to move the stars out of the way. And then I'm going to go ahead and paint this blue. And we're doing a patriotic. So I'm going to do a true blue for this part up here. And then I'm going to do something a little bit more vintagey in the middle part. Okay. And I just like to shake my paint. And then after I shake my paint, let me go ahead and make sure this stays where you can see it. After I shake my paint, what I like to do is just do that. And so a lot of times I'll paint on an easel, but a lot of times, like when I'm teaching my paint parties, but a lot of times at an event or at home, or if it's an event like this where it needs to be flat, I'll just paint it flat. I'll just squirt the paint on there. And I am using a 2-inch chip brush you can get from Walmart, Lowe's, pretty much anywhere, Michael's. And again, remember that big piece is going to come here. So I'm not even really worried if I accidentally go over the lines. Like I said, this is going to go here. So I'm just trying to get it close, but I'm not worried. So I'm just going to fill all of this in with this blue color. And yes, sometimes you have little bristle hairs that come out with it. Anybody ever have that problem? Just kind of grab them and move them. And so as I paint this, I just want to tell you a little bit about a lady who came to one of my paint parties, and she didn't want to paint. So for those of you that, you're new to painting, or, you're kind of nervous about, maybe you're good at painting and you want to make some extra money to teach a paint party like this, a barn quilt paint party. And so one year I was teaching, and I've taught paint parties for over 10 years. We over 10 years ago, we lost everything. We went bankrupt to business owner, and I ended up painting these really cute surfboards, and they ended up just kind of changing my outlook, changing my life and on everything. And so then, we moved to North Texas, and you can't really sell surfboards. We were living on the beach at that time. And so I was a teacher for 10 years, and I taught how to, I have the blue there. So I'm going to go ahead and start doing my white underneath here. So I'm just going to kind of move these over. I don't want to lose my positions. I'm going to move those over so I can do white down here. So anyway, we moved to North Texas, and I start, I'm teaching full time as an art teacher. And then I want to, I'm doing these paint parties, and I taught this paint party to this church group. And one of the ladies was just running around taking pictures of everybody. She did not want to paint. And I said, "Oh my gosh, would you please paint with us, please?" And she's like, "No, I'm just too nervous." And she was probably in her 60s, maybe mid to late 60s. And she was just so excited about everybody painting. And I said, "Please, oh my gosh, you've got to paint with us. Please paint with us." And finally, I said, why won't you paint with us? And she said, "Well, when I was in third grade," this is what made me like so frustrated and sad, because she said, "When I was in third grade, an art teacher told me that I wasn't good at the drawing we were doing in art class." And I was like, "Well, I promise you, if you paint with me, there will be nothing but happy things said about your art. Like, we are here to create and have fun. This is not a place where I'm going to judge anything you're doing." And so I, talked her into painting with us, and she had the time of her life. I mean, this lady was smiling and laughing and painting. I mean, she was dancing with the paintbrush. She was literally like standing up, painting and dancing and laughing. And at the end of the night, I took a picture of her, and she was smiling and so happy. And I was like so happy for her, because she had painted, right? I'm going to go ahead and paint these stars white while I have my brush white. And this is the cool thing about these. If you just go over like that, you can leave the edges that burnt wood color. So I just kind of go over it. But, I'm taking her picture, and I'm so happy, that she painted with me. And I'm so happy for how happy she is. But then my heart kind of goes out, because I think, oh my gosh, she let somebody that said something in third grade. And that's what I want you to think about. Like, how many times have we let somebody else say something to us, and it affect the way we do our life, right? The way that we do something. And so I just was like, my heart was like happy on one part, but then my heart was also sad, because I'm like, her entire, I mean, yes, she still has decades left, but I thought for, almost 50 decades, she let one comment from probably one overworked art teacher that was maybe having a bad day and didn't even realize she said it, dictate how she was not going to create her whole life. And I thought, oh my goodness, I never want to be that person. Like, I always want to be the person who encourages. So I think that's why paint parties and, making money for my family doing paint parties has really like become a mission. I feel like sharing God's love through art is very important to me. I know that's not everybody's mission, and that's okay. But I feel like, there's more, it's more than just paint parties. It's about showing people that they can step out even when they're scared and create something. And we're not trying to be like this best painter. I mean, I'm literally grabbing a star and just filling it in. It's not about being the best painter. It's not about being this, Van Gogh or Michelangelo. Like literally, we're just having fun and how we can use art to heal and how we can use crafts to heal and creating to heal. But then also, bonus, what if you could put, a group together and teach them either online, like I'm teaching you now, or and teach in person with a paint party. So there's so many opportunities with that. And I'm just so happy to be here and share that with you. Okay, so while that is drying, what I want to do is go ahead and grab my stripes, and I'm going to paint them this Tuscan red. So far, all I have used is True Blue. I'm going to be using Tuscan red and white. And in a minute, I'm going to introduce you to a new blue color to go along with this to kind of give it a vintage look. But right now we're just focused on this red, white, and blue colors, and that's it. Just those three colors. Okay, so I'm going to grab another chip brush, and of course you could just use one chip brush and just rinse them. But I'm just grabbing it because I know I'm going to go back to those, and I'm just filling these in. And this is a really fun project because look what I did. Like I put the letter R in pencil, so that way I know I won't forget. So this is a great project that you could just be chatting with your friends, do a project with your friends, or if you're teaching a paint party and people are really just doing paint by number, but they're going to create something really, really beautiful at the end. So I'm just filling that in, just getting those on there, and we're going to have a really beautiful patriotic barn quilt that we didn't have to use tape. A lot of times people will use tape to make like a barn quilt on wood or canvas, and it can take a lot of math. It can take it. For those of y'all that know me, I do not love math. So whenever we're doing, stuff that requires, like me and my daughter were, it drives my husband nuts, but he'll be like, well, how long was that? And me and my daughter will be like, it was 1, 2, 3, 3.5 hands. It was 3.5 hands tall, and it was 3.5 hands wide. And he's like, oh my gosh, are you kidding me? And I'll do that even in Lowe's or something. I know it's silly, but it makes us laugh. So why not? Why not do something to make you laugh, right? Okay, so we got 2 more of these, and then I'm going to show you how to do the really cool thing. And if you're painting this with me, so if you want to order the wooden piece, go ahead and click the link in the description. If you decide you want to do this as like a paint party for a wholesale, you can actually get a wholesale account as long as you're a business. And then you can order these at the wholesale rate. So you can order a bunch at once. So that's what I do whenever I teach a group as a paint party. But if you're just doing this for yourself, just click the link in the description and you can just order one. So if you're just wanting to do one, there's that option. If you're wanting to have a wholesale account, go ahead and sign up as a wholesaler, and then you can order them at a bigger discount. So I'm just grabbing this here. So it just depends on what your use is for. Okay, so I got all those reds in place. Now, as you can see here, my stars probably need a second coat. So we can go ahead and, get those on there once that dries. You can add a second coat. Okay, so now what I want to do is I want to bring back, remember that middle piece that's going to go here? So I'm going to set my red pieces. So you do need a little bit of room for doing this one. So I want you to keep that in mind when you teach a barn quilt at a paint party. Because a lot of times at a paint party, you can get, I'm going to actually move this and let it dry a minute so I don't get too much on it. Oh, let me move that out of the way. So whenever you're teaching this at like a paint party, for example, you can get in a place where, we can put people in pretty tight at a paint party. So when you're doing that, I want you to remember when you're doing a barn quilt like this, you do have to be more careful because you need space for them to put their stuff out. So I'm just going to squirt some white on there. Of course, at a paint party, I would have it on a plate for them ready. And you always, you know, I don't know how many of you watching have done a paint party yet, but you want to make sure you have room for your painters. So like I said, if we're doing just a canvas, you just have it on an easel and it's simple and quick. But if you're doing this on a you know, a place where you're teaching it, you're going to want to make sure you have it like that so you can have room, or if you're at your house. Okay, so now what we want to do is you can see on here, I put DB for dark blue and then blue, dark blue, blue, dark blue, blue. When we're doing this, again, you can make them any colors you want, but you want to be thinking about the contrast and where, you know, because we want it patriotic, we want it to have a lot of blues and a lot of reds and whites, obviously. So what I did was I grabbed a deep midnight blue. You can do any color blue you want. So I'm going to show you what I'm going to do with this. Because this is our first time that we kind of have to stay in the lines, I'm going to put some deep midnight blue right here. And then I'm going to use some of that same blue because I want that same color palette of that true blue right here. All right, so instead of using just that by itself, well, I'm going to use this by itself for the dark blue. So let me go ahead and just kind of, what I like to do is do that so I know that is what is going there. So I'm going to do dark blue first. And then in a second, I'm going to mix some of that blue to go with this dark blue. So it has a little bit of a variation. And then after we do this, I'm going to show you how to kind of vintage all of this stuff. And it's really easy and really fun. So I just kind of take my 1-inch brush, just dip it into the paint, and just kind of grab it and pull. And if I go a little bit over the line, I can correct that. I can correct that with my other color, okay? So I'm just going to grab it. And then do that. Okay, and while I'm doing this, I'm going to teach you, if you don't already know, how to reach out to places to book a barn quilt party. Because it's pretty awesome. If you have just maybe like 6 or 8 people, you can make a few $100 in just a couple of hours. And it's a lot of fun. So what I recommend doing is finding some local restaurants in your town, not just any local restaurants, but go to Facebook, and I want you to, or if you have a relationship with somebody that you know in your town. But what I like to teach people to do is just find a Facebook page and Google the restaurants in your town. Like go to Facebook, you know, Facebook's like a search engine. What you can do is go to Facebook and you can literally say, let me see your face here. You can literally just send a message to their restaurant. Now, here's what I recommend. Don't send the message during their lunch hour or their dinner hour, but send it like on a Tuesday around, 2 o'clock. And you're going to find Facebook pages of restaurants that are busy, that are actually posting. So sometimes this isn't like your Chili's, your chain restaurants. A lot of times it's those hole in the walls. It's those local hangouts where people post on those pages and people listen and they comment and they engage. So what you want to do is you want to send a message to those local restaurants that say hi, and you want it short and sweet. This is the key here. You want to say like, hi, my name is Heidi and I teach paint parties. I would love to talk to you about doing a paint party on a slow night. Do you have time to talk this week? And that is literally, you just put thanks, Heidi, or, whatever your name is, right? Unless it's a big party. I do travel. And so, so the reason for that is that you're going to be able to send that to about 5 restaurants a day. Don't do more than 5 because Facebook will put you in Facebook jail, because it'll look as spam. So you don't want to send that to more than 5. You also want to not, once you get a response back of, yes, that sounds interesting, I'd like to talk, stop sending them out, because you don't want, I've had somebody that it works so well for them that she booked about 17 parties. And I said, you still got to get butts in the seat. You still got to fill the parties. And that's the next step. Once you book a party, then you have to fill the party. But if you have a restaurant that has, they post and people listen, it's going to be very easy to fill your paint party because you're going to have the restaurants help with that, especially if you don't have customers yet and you're new to this. So, and that's what I recommend. I recommend keeping it short and sweet, to the point, and then get the next conversation going. You have to remember, we are in a world where things are coming at us a zillion miles a minute. And so if you are giving them, here's the prices, here's the times, here's this, here's that, they're going to be too overwhelmed. They're not going to want to know anything else. So you have to keep it short and sweet. And this script has worked for so many people, so don't veer from it. Okay, I'm going to grab that blue and mix it in. So by doing this, I'm keeping that same color palette, but I'm able to get a little bit of a variation. So when this is next to each other, it has a little bit of a different look. Okay, so I'm going to fill that in. So for those of you that are wanting to try this as a paint party, try it. Use my script. See what works. And then what's so cool is because I know it works, you'll have people coming back going, oh my gosh, what do I do next? So after you send that very short script, then you want to have a conversation with them. Hey, can I come up and talk to you? And remember, our Facebook page is our modern day resume, whether we like it or not. So if you are Facebook messaging these restaurants, but if you go to your personal Facebook page and it's all literally like crock pot recipe forwards and cat videos, nothing wrong with them. I love both. But they're not going to think of you as the person to go to for this. They're not going to take you serious. So you can see on my personal Facebook page, even though it's my personal page, it is literally like the 4 things that I'm about. I just repeat those over and over. It's about painting, it's about faith, it's about family, and it's about my dog. Literally, those are the 4 things that I repeat on my personal Facebook page day in, day out. Do I post on my personal Facebook page every day? No. I do on my business. Texas Art and Soul gets posted to about 4 to 8 times a day. That is my business page. That's where you're supposed to post all your business stuff. But for your personal page, you just want it to be clean. You want it to be something that, if somebody is, kind of looking at you to see if maybe they would want to hire you for that they're not like, oh my gosh, what is going on with this page? That it's just clean and it's just easy for them to see. Yeah, this lady knows what she talks about. She does some painting. And so again, you're not selling on your personal page. You're just always reminding people that you're the person to come to for whatever you're wanting to eventually have happen. And in my case, it's people wanting to hire me to teach them how to do paint parties, because that's what I do. That's what I specialize in. So I'm always posting my daughter, my dog, stuff about my faith, and guess what? Painting. Anything to do with painting. So yeah, so it's really, really cool. So I'm excited for y'all. And then those of y'all that just want to do this for fun, just have fun with it. Art is healing, and it's really, really exciting. And the coolest thing I've seen people do is they'll do something like this and they have a blast and they'll post it just to say, hey, look what I did. And then they get orders. And I think that's the best little surprise, because I love like doing something like that. And then you have extra money. You can go on a little vacation or, go spend it on, I love buying cowboy boots because that's like my favorite thing. So sell a few of these and then go buy something you like. Okay, so now this has been it has its blue. So this has been drying over here. So we're going to kind of switch this out a little bit. So again, this is where I was telling you, if you're doing this as an event, you need to make sure people have room because these are large. They're, I think they're 18-inch by 18-inch. Okay, so now we have this here. So we can go ahead and kind of place this. And remember I told y'all we had some space. So if I got that wrong, we'll be able to see in a minute. And I might have to fill that in. Yeah, I think I'm going to have to fill that in just a little because my red is over that. Okay, so I'm going to place my star. And you can use like a the E6000 glue to put this on here if you want. So see how I don't have that all the way? So I'm actually going to bring this. This comes down just a tad. And this is where we start to put our puzzle back together. Okay, so all will start to come together. So we're going to see how well we did on our place. So look, I just missed that little part of the white. Okay, so I'm going to just grab some white and just kind of get it right there. Did you ever play that game Operation? I could just lift that if I want, but I'm just having some fun playing Operation. Okay, so I'm going to grab that and then just grab a brush you have close by and just bring that out. I actually got some red on there whenever I was doing the red little stripes, so it ended up turning pink. Oops. So I'm just going to kind of go over that a little bit because I don't want, on the Patriotic, I don't want it to have pink. Okay. All right. So we got that there. Okay. So then we'll start just kind of filling these in. So this is going to hit the corner of this one to the corner of that. And then this one's going to do the same. So the corner of this to the corner of that. So it just literally makes it like a puzzle. And then our last one sits here. So now we have that on there. So this blue could look pretty stark. It's just kind of really, really blue. But when you start to put the stars on, it starts to give it that. But we are actually going to vintage it just a little. So you can do your vintaging however you want. You could use a palette knife if you want, but I'm actually going to just do something pretty basic. I'm going to grab a little bit of that same dark blue with a chip brush, and then I'm going to wipe it off. And then all I'm going to do is just kind of take it and just put some lines in here. Nothing major. And then you can go up and down with it just to make it a little bit more interesting. And so when you dip it in the paint and then you dip some of it off, then it just gives you a little bit more control. Okay, so nothing major, just to make it a little bit less stark. And then what we can do is start putting our stars. So we would put our stars on here, and you could actually, again, like I said, use the E6000 to glue them on. So I just put a little bit of that darker blue paint just in the background to show up a little bit more. Okay, same thing with these stripes. And even in here, you could grab a little bit of that blue, not much, dab it off a little bit, and you could just do a hint. And when I say a hint, let me show you up close. See how it's just a little bit? Just a little bit. And all that's going to do is give it just more of a vintage look. And then I'm just going to place it right back. So I'm going to dab in that blue, dab off a little bit on my paper, and then just kind of vintage it up a little bit. Okay. And I will give you the image of this. So if you want to look at it, and you can do it exactly like mine if you want, and just have fun with that. Okay. All right. And then if we want to add in little bits here and there, we can. The last thing that you can do, obviously, if your white on your star isn't showing up enough, you can always put a little bit more paint and just make sure that you have that all the way covered. So it has a good base of color. Again, you can make it as vintagey as you want, or just like that if you want. And then once you're all the way done, I usually do this on almost all my paintings. I'll spray a polyurethane, of course, especially if I'm going to put it outside. But I love glitter. So not everybody is a glitter person like me. But if you do love glitter, this is one of my favorites. It's Craft Twinkles, and I love the crystal. And so what I like to do is I like to take it, make sure your stuff is dry. But basically, I just grab it and then I just paint it. You can use your finger to put it on there if you want. And then it's kind of a fun textile process. Again, the whole point of doing this is to have fun, right? So now we're going to have glitter stars on our Patriotic barn quilt. So I would put glitter on each one of these just to make them shine a little bit more. So let me go ahead and do that while we got it out, and then it can be drying. So I'm just grabbing it and placing it on there so it has some little shimmer to it. Finger paint. It's always fun. Always fun to have some time to finger paint. All right, so if you want to order your barn quilt and you want to order it for wholesale, remember, sign up for a wholesale account with this company. If you're wanting to do it just for fun, like I just did, and you just want to have it for your own use, and you want to just have some fun with it, go ahead and just order one and using the link that I provided here. But this is really, really fun to hang on your door, have some something patriotic that's different, unique in your area. So I'm excited to share this with you, and I hope you liked it. If you want to know more about me, I am Heidi from Texas Art and Soul, and I teach people how to make money teaching paint parties online and in person. So if you want to know more about me, find out by going to Texas Art and Soul, and you can also check out my phone number by texting me. And again, this comes to my phone, so if you want to text me, just screenshot this, and I'd be happy to answer your questions. All right, guys, I hope you have a great day, and thanks so much. And if you want to learn more, I have a free gift for you that you can check out as well. I'll see you soon. Okay, so now that you've painted this, I want to see what it looks like. So make sure you text me a picture, share it with me, and then also I hope you had fun. If you decided to reach out to places to book your own barn quilt party, let me know how it goes. I would love to know and see how it goes. All right, I hope you have a great day, and I'll see you soon.